having a child is a massive life decision.
It is. It's not like getting a plant.
It's not
not like getting a plant.
It's not like having, I've got a dog. It's a child is huge.
Yeah.
So
for at least 18
I don't
years.
judge anyone that says they don't want someone with a child. I think it's fine. As long as you don't lead someone on.
Could you not build attraction to a man over time? Didn't you say that happened?
Of course it can happen. Of course it can happen.
So you have to give it a chance for that to happen.
You do, but I'm also mindful that these are real people and I don't like the thought of wasting somebody's time.
You're not wasting time if you're being genuine. Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I have a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we like to talk about all things dating and relationships and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of person we want. So without further ado, please welcome Hayley to the show. Hayley, welcome.
Hi. Nice. Thank you for having me.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Yeah?
Excited to be here.
I know, you've traveled a long way to be here.
Yeah, quite a long way. No, it's okay. It's only a 2-hour train.
2-hour train.
It's nothing.
On a Sunday though.
Oh no, I don't mind
appreciate
travel. I travel quite a lot, don't I? I travel quite a lot.
Well, listen, as long as you've got good snacks, you are good. That's
always.
So I want to jump right in. So first, tell us your age or your age range, asking a lady her age. And one thing a guy should know about you if you want to take you on a date.
I'm 36.
Okay.
One thing they should know about me. I have a son.
Okay.
I think that's important.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's a really big life thing.
Yes.
So I think that's really important.
Very true. If you don't mind me asking, how old's your son?
He's 10.
Oh, cute,
he's 10. But slightly different in that my son now lives with his dad.
Oh.
Which is why I don't really mention it on the dating app.
Interesting.
Because it's quite an unusual situation.
Yeah, I guess, obviously you're not with the father-in-law. Most times children live with the mum. Is this recent?
Most of the time the caregiver's the mother. That's a fair
Yes.
assumption that people make, and that's because it's 90-something% of the time.
Very true.
Yeah, it's quite recent, yeah. So I don't really mention it on the dating apps that I'm on because of all the assumptions that are made. Like, she doesn't have much time. She possibly doesn't have much money. Single mum kind of, that doesn't really apply to me.
Okay.
So I mention it a little bit later on, or in the conversation.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, would you say the main assumption is that they think, okay, you can never make the relationship priority because your son's always a priority?
I think that, and there's just a bit of a stigma around single mothers.
What do you think the stigma is?
That you don't have any money.
Is that a thing?
That you're kind of looking for a stepdad.
Yeah, that is true.
That they're going to have to look after the child.
I do think it's quite normal. I must say normal as in it happens, where if a man does get involved with a woman who has a child seriously, he does take on a bit of the responsibility of the child.
Absolutely, yeah. I think these assumptions are fair. I'm not saying that. I don't. People allow preferences, you know.
Sure.
In the same way, I don't particularly want to meet a man who's got 4 children.
Well, exactly.
We're allowed to have those preferences.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so I think that's absolutely fine. Having a child is a massive life decision.
It is. It's not like getting a plant.
It's not
not like getting a plant.
It's not like having, I've got a dog. A child is huge.
Yeah.
So
for at least 18 years.
I don't judge anyone that says they don't want someone with a child. I think it's fine as long as you don't lead someone on.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Just be transparent with your preferences.
I agree. What would you say to, because sometimes you hear this narrative, a real man would want to take on another woman's child. What would you say
I don't
to
like
that?
this real woman, real man talk.
Okay.
Looking after a child is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's massive.
Do you think it's the same the other way around? Like a woman taking on a child of a guy?
Most children, live with the mother.
Yes, very true.
Most. So when you're taking on, against that phrase, taking on a child, the most women will have to do is 50-50 normally when you're getting with a man who's got a child.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the same. But no, I don't like this talk of a real man. I don't like any of the negative talk that surrounds dating.
Yeah.
I see it so much in my comment section, in my messages.
Yeah.
There's a lot of divide. There's a lot of battling between men and women.
Yeah. Why do you think it's got to this point? Why do you think there's a lot of contention between men and women, specifically when it comes to the dating arena?
I think people love to look for reasons why someone doesn't like them.
Big facts.
I think it's very difficult to accept that someone doesn't like you. So it's much easier to slate their character. To say, oh, they're not a real man because I've got 2 kids, or oh, they're avoidant, or oh, they're a narcissist.
Yeah, very, very true.
The answer to, I get a lot of questions in my DMs, a lot of women asking for advice, and I don't know, 90% of the time the answer is he just doesn't like you that much.
He's just not into you as much.
He's just not into you, and that's okay. You know, it's unlikely he's a narcissist.
Yes.
I'm sure there are lots of narcissists around.
Yeah.
But they're not as frequent as we're hearing.
They're less than 5% of the population,
exactly. It's
statistically.
Not that much.
And it's like a medical diagnosis
exactly.
if someone's a narcissist.
And this whole avoidant thing as well, that name. And, you know, oh, he's not a real man. He don't want me because of my kids. That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Because we're all allowed to make our own decisions.
Yeah. The irony when it comes to like a guy who does, I know I'm going to use the word, take on a woman and her kids, he used to be celebrated back in the day.
Oh, yeah,
it was seen as a very honorable thing. Like, this man has stepped up to the plate. He's taken responsibility, etc., etc. He used to be celebrated. And I think now it's kind of, there's no other way to put this, but I think sometimes guys can think it's expected of them to. Like, it's not seen as like an extra thing they have to consider. Be like, oh, so what if I have a kid? Like, that's like just like having a plant or a dog. It's like, it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's a massive deal. I mean, once you get to my age, 36, most people have children.
Yeah.
Most, you know, so it's one of those things that when you enter the dating pool in your late 30s, if you want someone without children, you're narrowing your dating pool massively.
Yeah, very true.
You are. If I'm 36 now and I want someone who's whatever, my age or above.
Yes.
Yeah, you're narrowing it massively.
With no kids. Yeah, that's just unlikely.
Yeah. It's different in your 20s. It's completely different in your 20s.
That is true.
Dating is a different ballgame. But in late 30s, it's almost unrealistic to only date people who...
Though, interesting enough, this is the first time it's ever happened. I think this is for women. I don't know what the stat is for men, but I imagine it'd be quite similar. That this is the first time where more than 50% of women over the age of 30 are single and childless, ironically.
And that
is the first time
that brings up a whole lot of other pressures for men in dating. So I hear this a lot with men that I'm on dates with. Yeah. Where they go on dates with women my age who are desperate to have children. And they feel this pressure. Yes. To rush. Yes. Because they're 36, they want to move in, they want to get married, they want to have children. Yes. Very quickly.
Like yesterday.
And I guess I'm in a privileged position in that I don't want any more children. I'm 36, I don't want that. So there's no pressure for me there. Yeah. But I hear that a lot from men.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I actually...
And it's one of those things, that's biology. It's not a lot we can do about that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think understandably so. Like, you know, biology is a real thing. And so if a woman in her mid to late 30s, she does want kids, there's...
Because you want to be with someone for a year or 2 years before you get engaged, and you want to do all that for a year or 2 years. Yeah. So you're looking at 4 years if you want to get married first. Yeah. If that's a priority to you.
Yeah, very true.
You know, that takes you into 40.
Yeah, it's true. And it's interesting because anyone who knows me, like I've dated... Half of them I've dated have been younger, but half have been older, and some like significantly older, if I'm being honest. But I would generally stay away. And when I say stay away, because I wasn't ready to have that yet, any woman kind of between the age of like 30 to 37. And if they were older, they'd be like almost late 30s, early 40s. Yeah. Or younger than that, you know, kind of through my 20s. And mainly for that reason. Because it'd be like, I know 9 times out of 10, if she's 33 and she does want to have a family, she's looking for a guy who's ready to have that within the next 18 months. And that's just is not me.
Yeah, and that's fine. And preferences, everyone is allowed preferences as long as I think, again, it's just about being upfront, isn't it? Yeah. 100%. It's not meeting someone and saying, oh yeah, I do. Or just saying what they want to hear so you can date them for 6 months because you really fancy them. Yeah. You know, and wasting 6 months of that person's time. As long as it's being upfront. It's been honest and upfront about your intentions early on. Yeah, of course. Which I think is important.
What have you noticed a difference dating in your 30s compared to dating in your 20s?
To be honest, I didn't really date much in my 20s because I was bringing up a child.
Okay. Because you had your child, what, 25?
25, yeah.
Yeah, okay. What about the first half of your 20s?
Well, I was kind of seeing the same person on and off. And, you know, how long ago was that now? That's 10, 15 years ago. Yeah. Makes me sound really old, but dating apps.
Seasoned.
The internet wasn't really a thing.
Oh yeah, true.
We didn't have camera phones.
We didn't. That's so true. 15 years ago. Yeah.
It just wasn't. I do remember having a profile on like Plenty of Fish.
Yeah.
Back in the day. But I didn't take it remotely serious. I really made a decision just over a year ago.
Right.
To date and to go on a dating site and to take it seriously. But that was the first time I've really gone, this is a decision I'm making. My son moved in with his dad, back to that. So when he was 9, so for the first time I had time.
You had freedom.
I had no time.
Yeah, you had the time. Yeah, of course.
No
and
time.
we kind of mentioned this, but you said one of your videos that kind of people got to know you by was you went on 29 dates.
Well, it was 31 by the end of the year.
31
So I did like a
dates.
dating rap. Have you seen that trend on TikTok?
I know I haven't. What is it?
Oh, when you say like, oh, my dating rap to 2023, it's quite popular. And then people...
I don't really watch TikTok. I just post and I get off.
Do you?
Because it consumes
well, people tend to do
you.
it with a pie chart saying, oh, I went on this many dates, I met this many on Hinge, this many in the wild.
Is it mainly women or guys who do that?
Many women, I think.
Yeah,
Have I seen men do it?
They wouldn't do that online.
Yeah, mainly women.
Yeah.
And yes, I did a video because it was before Christmas and I'd been on 29.
Yeah.
But I could count. I kind of had to go back through them. It was 31 by the 31st of December.
And we're talking 31 first dates, not 31 dates, 31 first dates.
Yeah, because a few of those I went on second and third dates with, yeah.
So like, if we're talking dates in general, that could be 45.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
I know you said it felt like a lot. It didn't feel like a lot.
I think meeting 31 people in 1 year, that is a lot.
Yeah, honestly, it didn't feel like it.
Because
It's like a couple of hours a week.
Yes. Okay. Think of it this way. We know many people sleep together on the first date.
Oh, yes. Well,
so if you thought, okay, well, out of that 31, let's say you slept, not even with all of them, let's say 2/3 of that.
Well, the
That's like
criticism,
23
so when you go
guys
back
in
to
1
that
year.
post that I did,
Yes.
it blew up. And I was really surprised by the comments.
Okay.
The comment section, you'll have to go through it, is...
Tell me some of the ones that stood out to you.
Oh, well, one, a lot of criticism about my age. I don't understand, from men.
Right.
So the comments from women were overwhelmingly positive.
What were the women saying? What were the men saying?
Oh, just like, well done for putting yourself out there.
Okay.
How do you not get disheartened by it? I wish I had the positivity that you have.
Yeah. True.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the comments from men were overwhelmingly negative.
Right.
Overwhelmingly negative. So lots of criticism about my age. How is a 36-year-old single mother getting that many dates? Lots of that.
Right.
And lots saying, ew, you slept with 30 men in a year. I don't sleep with any first dates. So that was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
No judgment on people who do. I don't really care what people do.
Yes.
But I never have done. And that was the biggest surprise, that men assume that I've slept with the first dates.
So it's interesting because before we got rolling, we were talking about terminology. And I'm not saying it's right for them to assume that, but I think men know, or I think men are starting to look for the terminology that maybe some women will say online about their dating experience. So she'll say, I went on 30 dates, but she won't say, I slept with 20 of them. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
And so I think sometimes, and I'm like I said, I'm not saying it's right to make this assumption, but I think sometimes when you say something in a certain way, where maybe you live in a culture where, okay, we know a lot of people do sleep with someone on the first date, people can apply that standard to you and it may not apply to you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I was surprised because this is naive of me. I didn't really think people slept with each other on a first date. I can't fathom doing that.
Yeah,
I know. You're smirking as if...
It happens. I'm like, where you been? Where you been?
No, I can't imagine meeting a complete stranger off the internet for a couple of hours for a drink and being like, I want to go. I know.
How long?
That's so... I cannot imagine doing that.
How long do you talk to them before you meet with them?
It varies. I try not to have a set routine.
Not a set routine, but like, are you the kind of person that you're like, oh yeah, we've matched. Should
on
we
my
like
dating
get
site,
to know each other first?
It does say I like a date quickly. I'm not much of a chit chatter,
and I think that's a big part as to why that is like so outlandish for you. Because some people will match and they'll be talking every day for 4 weeks,
I know.
and then they'll meet. So at that point, there's a much higher level of rapport.
Yes.
To almost permit.
Yes.
The physical intimacy to happen. Does that make sense?
Yes, you feel like you know them. Well, the problem is texting, and this is another dating person who says this, I don't want to copy, but she says it creates a false sense of intimacy. So that's why I don't particularly like texting much, because then you think you like that person, and it's almost like you build up a little fantasy in your head of them.
Yeah, I think
and real people are different. We look different. We move different.
Yeah.
Our mannerisms are different.
You only know them through one realm, which is the
and you infer your own tone to a text.
Yeah, and then you
read it in a voice that you want to read it in.
Yeah,
and you create this little fairy tale about, he's saying it like this, and he's saying it, when really he's just saying, how's your day?
So out of those 31 first dates, what did you learn about men, and what did you learn about yourself?
Oh gosh, I've learned so much actually about dating. I think I used to be quite an anxious dater or person in relationships.
Okay.
And I think you build up such a resilience when you go on lots of dates.
Resilience to what?
Rejection.
Yeah.
The nerves of meeting a new person.
Very true.
The nerves of going out there and meeting a new person and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
I'm now quite like okay with it.
Yes.
And I don't know, I've just become a lot more confident from it.
Great.
I am who I am. I look the way I look.
Yeah.
My life is the way it is.
Vanessa Kirby. She looks like Vanessa Kirby.
Some people say that. No, because now people are going to say, no, she doesn't. I don't say I look like Vanessa Kirby. Other people do.
Other people say that. My producers, that was the first thing he said. That was the first thing he said.
I know, she's prettier than me, but it's a compliment. It's a compliment. I accept the compliment. But no, you get a lot more confident in yourself. I do anyway. My boundaries have firmed up massively over the last year.
In regards to what? Give us an example.
What you accept in terms of the talk before a date, preparation for the date, actions on the date, behavior after the date. I think going into dating naively, you assume that other people put importance on the same things that you do.
Sure.
So going on a date means I'm doing it because I would like to meet somebody, or going on a date, I get ready and I'm putting effort in. I wouldn't go on a date without those intentions, but some people do. And just because you think something's important, like they're taking you to a nice restaurant or they're being really lovely and polite, they could just be like what they do. They could just have money and go into a restaurant is nothing for them.
Oh, I see what I mean.
So the importance you put on dating isn't necessarily the importance that other people put on dating.
Or I don't disagree with you, but it could also be that maybe the areas in which you make a conscious effort to make an effort in, they make an effort in other areas.
Yeah, everyone's version of effort is different.
Right.
Which is why, again, in dating talk, effort is a word that's used a lot.
Right.
And one person's effort, could be that they've got childcare that night. They've been up since 4 because they've got an early job or they work 2 jobs. So just going out is the effort.
Right, very true.
And we think that someone taking us somewhere nice is effort. But again, if it's a person who's earns a lot of money.
Could that not still be effort though? Because they're still taking you out.
Oh yeah, of course, but it's not as much effort. Effort to them might be freeing up 3 hours because they are super busy with work, not necessarily where they're taking you.
Right, I see what you're saying.
So everyone's version of effort is different.
I get that. I guess the reason I said that could still be effort is because if you're just looking at it monetarily, just the financial aspect, then yeah, sure, proportionately, that may be nothing to one guy. For one guy, it might be like, actually, £120 is actually a lot of money.
It's a huge chunk of money.
So
it's a lot of money to me.
Yeah. So, but the effort of them still at least taking you out, at least I expect dressing up, etc., conversing with you, like, all of that.
It could be, but that could be normal. I think it depends where you are as well. London dating is very going out a lot. That's kind of a normal thing.
Yeah.
Quite different to town dating. So it depends where you are on location as well. I think that plays a part.
Do you prefer like being in the city, or do you prefer like a country bumpkin in terms of dating and stuff?
Do you know what? I actually prefer city life nowadays. I tend to go for dates. I live near Manchester.
Yeah.
Into Manchester. And because I'm a southerner up there, I tend to attract southerners.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Did they really like, oh, she's a southerner, so like, yeah.
There's a big north-south divide. Yeah, I've really noticed it. I've put on my dating profile a voice note saying I'm a southerner.
Do they really care that much up there?
So I didn't really notice. I've lived up there for 18 years, up north. I didn't really notice the divide until I started dating.
Wow.
And I noticed it you'll start talking, and if I don't mention that I'm from the south, immediately send a voice note. Oh, you're posh. Oh, you sound really educated.
You are quite well spoken. Is that because you're southern though?
I feel like it's just because I'm southern. I don't know. I don't just
Nah, come on. You know how some London people chat.
I'm not from London, so yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're necessarily posh.
But no, I'm from a council estate in Basingstoke. You know, one parent family. There's nothing posh about me.
Yeah.
And I find, I don't know, this isn't going to go down very well, but I find a lot of northern men are a little bit intimidated. I get a lot of questions like, "Oh, you seem really educated," and I'm like, "Oh, I just went to university, like lots of people did." Or just lots of jokes about being Southern on the date. Lots of jokes. Oh, it's because you're Southern. And when someone makes a joke quite a few times,
sure,
it's sort of more of a resentment.
Yeah, interesting.
I get that a lot, and it's just a bit like tiresome. That's how I feel. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay, we understand. I'm not from here.
Do you think it's maybe because they think you have expectations on the kind of man you would want to be with, and they're like, maybe that's just not me?
A lot of assumptions, yeah. I get a lot of assumptions, a lot of questions. Did you go to private school?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No. Not everyone from the South that lives in a country manor.
Lives in a castle.
Lives in a castle.
Just the royal family.
Stables.
It's just the royal family.
You know?
Interesting.
I find that a little bit intimidated by it. And I try and say, like, oh no, I'm from... You feel like you're justifying yourself. Oh no, I'm from a council estate. And they're like, oh no, but they're not the same, are they? Yeah.
Interesting. What's something you'd like to ask or bring to conversation? Is there something you want to talk about?
Well, the thing that going back to that dating reel that I did.
Yes.
The thing that we kind of touched on it is I would openly say before I did that reel that, yeah, I date a lot and yeah, I date. And now I'm very, I don't lie, but I don't give the information that I go on lots of dates.
Sure.
And it's confused me as to why men get so annoyed, even angry that I'm going on dates.
Well, I don't know why men who don't know you get angry. That's just the internet.
Well, that's the internet. There's a lot of angry men on the internet. Well, and women, I'm sure.
Yeah. In regards to maybe a guy you're on a date with and you go, yeah, I go on loads of dates.
Yeah, like let's say I mentioned, so they do say, do you date a lot sometimes? And like, oh, you know, here and there. Because I feel like if I said, yeah, like one every couple of weeks, or they'd go like, oh no.
One every couple of weeks? I think that's crazy. I think men value a woman who, in their head, is sexually selective.
But again, it's that assumption that you're sleeping with them. It's wild to me.
I know, but I think sometimes men apply the standard of, okay, a guy wouldn't go on a date with a girl that he wouldn't be physically intimate with. That's why he's on the date.
It's really opened my eyes.
Right.
To first dates.
So it's like, okay, well, if a woman is going on a date with a guy, it's because she's open to being physically intimate with him. So you may go on 30 dates and you may be open to being physically intimate with them. That doesn't mean that you are going to, because you could meet them and you're like, oh, he's not really my vibe, not my energy. Yeah, he's attractive, but I don't feel this, right? 100%. But the hardest part for men is getting the opportunity with women. And that's the hardest part. So it's harder for men to get the date.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Women simply have to exist.
To get it, they need to get
as long as you kind of fit the beauty standard, yeah, you just kind of...
I'll be honest, you don't even have to, because guy standards are not that high. They are not that high.
I don't know if
you don't have to fit any beauty standards.
You're right.
Women think that because women are in competition with each other, and they're like, these crazy beauty standards. The guys are like, yo, we'll have sex with anything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys really would.
I did a funny reel on that as well, saying that, and that got a bit of a...
Do you know what I mean?
Backlash.
So I think it's like, so you saying, okay, I'm not saying this is what you're saying, but I'm saying this is how it can appear to men. Essentially, the guys you go on a date with are the guys that you would be physically intimate with. So if you're going on a 31 first date, it's like, you're open to having sex with 31 guys in the space of a year.
That's just so mad to me.
Yeah, of course. And guys just value a woman that is sexually selective for something serious. So when it's like, okay, you date a lot, it's like, oh, okay, so there are many guys, this is what he hears, that you would have sex with. And guys are like, no, I want her to be selective, because then one, it's just the confidence that if you're dating that some other guy, it's harder for you to cheat because you're quite selective. That's what guys think about. And just makes him think that you're more loyal, to be honest. That's the truth.
I wondered whether it was anything to do with this whole chase thing that men like. It's almost a bit more of a prize to get a woman who isn't looking for a relationship. Anything to do with it, or the fact that she's out there going, yeah, well, I want a relationship. That's almost like it's not an achievement.
Well, because I think most men, I'm going to say no. Most men suspect that most women are looking for relationships. When I say that's the game, it's like there are more women going on dates looking for something serious than looking for something casual.
Yeah,
because a woman doesn't need to go on a date to look for something casual.
Oh, no. I say that all the time.
Exactly.
You could get sex any night of the week.
That's what I mean. You can literally text a guy. You could text a male friend that you know, be like, listen, I'm up for it. You're up for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So most of the times you go on a date, you're looking for something serious. So, and guys know that. So you going, I'm looking for something serious. He's like, well, yeah, you and every other woman who goes on dates. That's why women go on dates, to look for a serious thing. So it's not like, and obviously part of the prize for women is the commitment.
Yeah.
Because men are the gatekeepers for emotional intimacy and relationships, and women are the gatekeepers for physical intimacy. So in that sense, it's a prize for you, but guys are playing a quote unquote different game. I don't mean like it's a game playing, but it's more of the approach, right? Because for guys, it's like guys want to get as much physical intimacy as they can without having to give the emotional. For women, they want to get as much of the emotional intimacy where they can without having to give as much with the physical. Now, when you have two people who are actually open to something serious, that can actually create a really nice balance, because you stay open to giving the other person what they want, but you're also pursuing something else, an element of the relationship that needs to be there for it to become a relationship. The woman's pursuing the emotional intimacy, the connection. You need that for a relationship. The man is pursuing the physical chemistry, the physical intimacy. That's what makes it a romantic relationship. So as long as you're both open to that and you're pursuing these two different strategies almost, then you have something beautiful. But you both have to be open to it. And you have to be open to giving the other person what it is that they want, and vice versa, right? It's about reciprocation. So when you say to guys, I'm looking for a relationship, they're like, yeah, you and every other woman out here. Duh. It's like a guy going, hey, I'm looking for someone that I can have sex with. You're like, well, yeah, you wouldn't go on a date unless you want to do that.
Looking for casual, I guess. There must be. I don't come across them too much, but there must be.
Yeah, I'm not saying there aren't out there, but I'm like if I had to have a guess of ratio in terms of
ratio, yeah, I just feel like you'd get lots in the comments saying, no, women do like casual sex too. Yeah, I'm sure they do. They do,
but like they're not, because going on a date for a woman, like you have to get dressed up. You might have to get childcare.
Yeah.
You might have to get there yourself, and then that's you being in public, dolled up as a woman. There might be some guys looking at you. There's more risk for women going on a first date, and you're meeting a stranger.
You are, yeah.
Right? There's more risk for women, so it's kind of like, and if you can get something casual just by messaging someone that you know, why put yourself out there for a risk for a man you don't even know, when there's a guy maybe you do know who maybe you've had a fling with before? Be like, yo, I'm feeling a bit horny, come over.
Yeah.
Because you know he's going to say yes.
A few things going back to the men assuming you have sex on a first date, it really highlights how different men and women are in what they're looking for. Because men are very visual. Men are very visual.
Yes.
Very, very visual. And all the women I speak to really care about the communication before the date, the consistency before the date, the planning of the date, his sense of humour. All of those things are adding to the attraction. Almost, the looks are almost, for most women that I talk to, quite far down the list.
I think it depends.
So when we're agreeing to a date, because you're seeing pictures, obviously you don't see much. So when you're agreeing to a date, it's not like, oh, that person's really hot, I would have sex with them. It would be...
But you would though.
All the other things, but not for many women.
No, what I mean is, I don't think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I don't think women would go on a date with a guy that they didn't find physically attractive to some degree. I don't think they would.
To some degree.
Like,
I tend to lean towards being a bit more of a sapiosexual, where, I'm sure you know what I mean, if you don't, where looks play much less of a part. It's all about intelligence. I love conversation.
Yeah.
I would say that I rarely
But
date.
would you match with a guy you didn't find attractive? I don't think you would. Because like you're quite an attractive woman.
I don't have...
So you'll be matched with guys who you will go, oh, you're an attractive man. You're not matching with just No offense, but like guys who are unattractive, like you're not.
No, I'm not sapiosexual 100%, but I think I lean towards it.
Yeah.
But looks aren't the main thing. I don't have a type. I don't have a type. I don't have a...
What I'm saying is there is a barrier to entry when it comes to looks. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I don't think you would be like, oh, cool. Well, as long as you're a great person, I'll just go on a date with anyone, no matter what you look like. I don't believe that. I don't think anyone's like that.
But looks are still quite far down the list for me. And for lots of women that I talk to.
Yeah, I believe that. I think for investment past the first date, 100%. But he has to go on that first date.
He has to get to the first date. Yeah. So the pictures do have to be okay.
At least to some degree, yeah.
At least to some degree.
Yeah, of course.
But I also shy away from very attractive men. I don't.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Why's that?
Again, I guess I just make assumptions. One, I assume they're getting a lot of female attention.
Is that a turn off?
It's for me. I think I'm very good at dating on my level. So a lot of the criticism I get in my comments are, she thinks she's a 10. She's dating a 10. The reason she's single is because she's dating men that are a 10 and they won't commit to her.
Sure.
And I'm not going to post pictures of the people I'm dating. Like, obviously.
Unless you're part of that Facebook group where they post the guys.
But no, I would never do that. But my friends see them occasionally. I would say don't date. I don't like judging people on numbers. It's not very nice,
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? I don't date up. I think I'm very good at dating on my level in terms of aesthetics and looks. And
Sure. I think, it's going to sound harsh, I'm just going to be honest. The reason guys say that is because most women do that. Most women in today's dating landscape,
I hear a lot. You're going for what you're going
they
for.
are. It sounds harsh, but they are dating above their league. Is the truth.
I hear that a lot,
and I think that's why they make that assumption. I'm not saying it's right because
Well,
guys go, if you were dating your level, you would get the commitment you want because you would. Most of the time, not most of the time, a lot of the time, why a woman is engaged with a man and isn't getting his commitment is because maybe he's out of their league.
Would you hear the saying that women get stuck on the highest setting? Heard that phrase?
Well, she basically acclimatized to high standards.
So she's dated one man who's like incredible.
Yes.
In her mind.
Yes.
Maybe it's even just slept with him or maybe dated for a very short period of time.
Yep.
And maybe he's super successful. Maybe he's really dashing and charming.
Yes.
And I don't like to read that they get stuck on the highest setting.
Very true.
And then they compare everyone to this dashing finance bro who took them to dinner in Mayfair.
It's true. Chris Rock makes this great joke, and it's funny because it's true. He goes, men cannot go backwards sexually, and women cannot go backwards in lifestyle.
Saying that, I have dated somebody really wealthy, and I wouldn't do it again. So
I hear that, but I think that's an element of maturity there, because you go, okay, I can appreciate the benefits that come with that, but what means more to me is this.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
One thing I always say is there's a difference between the caliber of a man and the quality of a man. The caliber of a man refers to his economic position, how successful he is, his status, his influence, right? His reputation. The quality of a man refers to his character. Is he integral? Is he moral? Does he show his intentions? Is he honest? Is he loyal?
Absolutely.
Communication. I think what happens is many women date guys of high caliber, but demonstrate low quality.
Well, you associate certain things with quality. You associate if they're successful in business, if they earn money, you associate that with characteristics that, when they necessarily aren't.
Yeah, I mean, it's that refers to his caliber, but that doesn't mean he's a high quality guy. Because you guys have guys who are high caliber but low quality.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, that could be, that's like Harvey Weinstein. It's a perfect example.
Well, this is
he's
people
very
picking,
high caliber, but he's a low quality
really
male.
Arbitrary choices though. They pick, he's got this job, so I'm going to go on a date with him. He's very handsome. And I'm like, well, yeah, but have you looked at his location? Have you looked at his job? Have you looked at his got children? Does he want children? All the things that are really important over these things that you're just picking on a whim.
Why do you think women fall into that trap of just picking based on that without looking at the other things that actually are conducive?
I think men do it as well, just differently. Oh, she's petite and blonde. I think it's just different.
Yeah,
I think it's instinct to just be attracted to shiny things. And it takes a level of maturity to sit back
I agree, but I think the difference with men is they can't date above their league. That's the difference.
Unless the money ruins.
Maybe money can.
Money changes everything.
True, but how many men are rich?
Oh, that's what I say. Not many. Not
Do you
many.
know what I
This
mean?
is, well, again, I get a lot of, if men are rich, men are rich, men are rich. Not many men are rich. So yeah,
No, they're
but
not.
money changes that. But
So
yeah.
the majority of men, 95% of men cannot date above their league, whereas 95% of women can.
If we're talking about just look, but men can compensate bad looks. This is well known, isn't it? With personality and charisma and confidence.
Doesn't matter if you can't go on a date.
This is where those type of men have to meet women in the wild. Dating
I don't
sites
disagree with
are
you.
a good looking person's game.
I agree. They are.
But because you don't get a second chance on dating sites, whereas you do
Nope.
in real life. So dating sites you get one chance. Real life, when you work with somebody, when you're out of an evening, you get 2, 3, 4 chances to impress somebody.
Maybe. It depends on the environment, but I get what you're saying.
I've met so someone I dated a couple of years ago who I kind of really liked. I didn't initially fancy this person at all, looks wise, but got chatting.
Yeah.
And then, oh.
It's true. Actually,
that's not. I like that. Oh, he's quite charismatic.
I've talked to many women in very happy relationships. They're like, if I saw my boyfriend on a dating app, I would have said
And I
no.
just know his dating profile would be awful as well. Of
course.
And he's the worst texter on planet Earth.
Right.
So, had it been on a dating app, it would never have got to a date. And yeah, I completely fell head over heels for this guy because in real life, in the wild, you get many chances with somebody.
I think it depends on the environment because actually I'm gonna say I don't think you do, and I'll tell you why. Because let's say it was a guy that you work with, and let's say you've been working for a few months and stuff, and you like the look of you, he likes your energy and your vibe, and he's like, I really like Hayley, like I want to get to know her in a more romantic setting. So he said, hey, like I'd love to go for a drink with you, maybe after work. Let me know if you're down for that. And you go, thanks, but no thanks.
Because they've been friend zoned, that kind of thing.
Maybe, but like the first, you said chance is a no, right? And you're like, get many no's. From that, he shouldn't ask you out again. Because then that steps into like harassment territory.
But
that
stuff
says to
happens,
him,
doesn't it, on work nights out?
nah,
I've worked, going back to my teaching days when I was a teacher.
I would not do that.
I've worked with people and you're getting on in the office fine and you don't think anything of it until you're in a different environment. And then you're like, oh.
But that's still the first chance though.
Of something romantic, but you still know them. You still have laughed at all our jokes the last year. You're comfortable around them. Whereas on a dating site, it would be like, no.
No, I know, but like, when we're talking, I get that. When we're talking about
short, do this, do that, do this, do that.
It's true. But I guess I'm talking about when it's talking about like shooting your shot. Really, a guy can only shoot his shot once now. Because if he shoots his shot and misses and he tries again, that's stepping into harassment territory where it's like, I told you no, and it doesn't mean
good. But people grow on people.
I know, but then here's what I would say. If a guy hits on you at work or whatever, and he asks you out and you say no, but then he grows on you, you then need to ask him out.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You need to give all the signs. You need to...
No, not even give the signs.
Oh, you just be explicit and ask out.
100%. Because like, why would you expect him to ask you again? Because that would be him not respecting the no that you said.
But I think you're someone who seems to have, you're quite moral. A lot of men aren't like that. A lot of men will ask again.
I tell them not to.
Yeah, great.
And I'll be honest,
and I agree.
I've had it before where maybe a girl, I tried it once and she wasn't interested. And then this was months later. We were in an environment where she was trying to give me signs and stuff. But I was like, you already told me no once. Like, I'm going to take your no as a no. Like, if you want this to happen.
And being rejected can be a bit of a turn off as well. Like, it kind of makes me go,
Yeah,
you didn't like me first time round, so I don't really want it.
You want them to want you.
You don't like me first time round. Am I a second choice now? That kind of thing.
True.
That's what I think.
Guys think that
in dating, I rarely give second chances because I just think, well, you were into someone else at the time. So it's obviously that they've dumped you.
Oh,
you know, when men
that
come
can
back.
happen. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, guys can come back. Why would a woman come back?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I think there's so many reasons.
Okay.
There's so many reasons. A lot of people I know deal with quite toxic people. So I'm not someone who deals with, I don't get turned on by rejection. I'm not, that doesn't do anything for me.
Yes.
Turns me off.
Yeah.
But people who have different attachment styles or past trauma and all the things that go with that. Love to chase. They love to get someone who doesn't want them, who didn't want them first time round. They want to be chosen. It makes the love more worthwhile if it's been a little bit more difficult at the start.
Sometimes to do with power. I'll be honest, my ego has come into play where a girl who didn't want me, eventually she came back round, and I just, funnily, I would have been potentially open to it, but my ego got better of me. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, and this was, things had started going well for me and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, now you're wanting some of whatever.
Well, this is a reason why I block people, and I don't block out of malice. I block because a lot of people come back, and so I have some friends who've been dating and they've had exes who come back and back, and I'm like, why haven't you blocked them? Is it because a little part of you gets a little bit of an ego boost when they message again?
Maybe.
And again and again.
It's that validation.
Yeah,
recognition.
Whereas I just block because I don't want them coming back. I don't want that temptation. Because obviously you liked them first time round.
Of course, yeah.
You liked them first time round.
It's true.
So I block. A lot of people think it's quite harsh. And I'm like, it's not out of malice. There's no... It's nothing like
excommunicated. Yeah, literally.
I don't want to see them. I don't want them seeing me. I don't want the temptation of posting picture in the hope that someone's going to see it. I don't like that. I don't like doing things for other people's benefit.
Right. Okay.
Because I think when there's someone on your social media who you like, it does affect the way you behave. It does affect the stuff you post. It does affect
Do girls think about that a lot? I don't know if guys do.
Yeah, I think girls do.
I don't think guys are
Girls get terrible advice from other women. And this is something that I'm a girl's girl. Okay, I'm a girl's girl. I support women. I reply to women. I rarely reply to men. I'm a girl's girl.
Sure.
But I'm honest. And this is something that I do on social media a lot. I'm honest. I think women get terrible advice from other women.
What's some of the terrible advice
so much of it. Oh, just go out, get dolled up, post some pictures. No, he didn't want you first time round. He finds you kind of attractive to sleep with, but like you say, they'll sleep with anyone. He's not going to be spellbound by this selfie.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah.
And advice in dating. He was intimidated by you. He liked you a lot and couldn't handle his feelings. He didn't like you that much, babe.
He just wasn't into it.
He's like, no, he wasn't.
Why I feel like with guys, we're very honest with each other. And so like, we're just like, look, bro, she just wasn't that into you, my guy.
I don't know.
That's just what it is. Like, because she ran off with this footballer. Do you know what I mean? And I love you, man, but you're working at Halfords right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there wasn't enough time for her to fall for you.
No, women don't do that. They're very...
Do you know what I mean?
I have a couple of friends who are honest with me, but no, collectively we build each other up, which is a great thing. There's nothing, that's a great thing. And I guess that's from years of decades, centuries of men pushing women down.
Do you know what I think?
They come together and
I think it's something else. I think women prioritize the emotional aspect as opposed to the reality when it comes to somebody who they feel might be hurting. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I think it's more, especially because I think there's women are more socially adept than men in general, like social intelligence, etc. And I think there's a higher, I don't know if requirement is the word, but I think there's a higher need in women to socially integrate. And so I think what can happen is that if you get a group of girls and one of the girls are venting about something, and maybe one girl might be like, you kind of messed up here. Mm-hmm. But at the moment she's venting, she just needs us to comfort her. So if she goes and says the truth, being like, okay, I get this happened, but you kind of messed up here, she could ostracize herself from the group. So it's actually in her own interest to comfort how she's feeling in that moment than to maybe say what she really thinks the reality is.
When I have a friend who asks for advice, I sometimes ask, do you want comfort or a solution? Because if you want comfort, I'll comfort you in that and say all the things you can't want to hear.
Do you want the lie or do you want the truth?
A lie? Or do you want the truth?
Does that work when you tell them that?
Most people want comfort in the moment and they want solutions a little later down the line.
Okay, that makes sense.
In the moment when they're feeling emotional.
Yeah.
But that emotional thing you're talking about, women build much deeper relationships with friends and family. I think more intimate relationships with friends than I think men do.
I don't know.
Do you not think so? I really think so.
The reason I question it.
Not all men. This is always not all men.
Of course, and not all women.
I know lots of very emotional, available men who have got incredibly friendship groups and are very in tune with our feelings. The reason
I question it is because I hear it more where two girls who were best friends fell out over a man than a man falling out over a woman. Than two best friends falling out over a woman. I feel like bro code is stronger when it comes to women than girl code is when it comes to men.
But I don't think it's a deep connection.
Why don't you think that?
I have friends that I could ring crying my eyes out to. I have friends that I could send a 10-minute, I don't, but I could.
Yeah.
I have friends that go, one of my best friends, I see her on a Thursday morning on my way to work. And sometimes she's just pottering around and I just sit in silence.
I get that.
And it's just the company. It's just one of my best friends.
Next question. Do you have friends where you have friends you communicate, you frequently talk to?
Yes.
If you didn't talk to them for a year, would that affect the friendship?
No, I've got friends who I don't talk to.
But that friendship though?
No. The friends I've got, I have a small group of friends. I'm one of those girls that have quite a small group of friends.
Sure.
I'm not very, so I'm a bit of an introvert. I don't go out much. I don't go to big events. I don't like hen-dos, baby showers and that thing. I don't like any of that.
Right.
I like small groups. I like one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
I like quite intimate things. But so I've got a small group. So I can't speak for all women because some women do have big groups of friends.
Of course.
I don't. I have a very small group of friends. So there's no falling out in my life that goes on.
Because I think for a lot of guys, they don't have to talk to each other every day, not even every week.
No.
Like my best friend, who's in the room, one of my producers, there are times we'll talk to each other every day and then we've gone months without speaking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard other girls being like, why hasn't Cassandra reached out to me?
Oh, yeah.
It's been like 3 weeks and we usually talk every other day.
And I think maybe an age thing here because, again, I'm at an age where people have children and when everyone has children,
you're more understanding.
They disappear
yeah.
for long periods of time.
That's
and
fair.
We understand. And
That's
I was
fair.
actually one of the first in my friendship group to have a child.
Right.
So I think at the time they maybe didn't understand that I couldn't go to things and couldn't see them as much. And now they get it because they've all got young children.
Okay, so in that period then, how did that change the friendship?
I just couldn't accept any invitations to things because I was alone with my son from young. And but no, I think because we're such a close group, I think it's been fine. I think it's been fine. They didn't judge.
I'm not saying that women just losing friendships left, right, and center. I think I've just heard it more. The guys will just pick up where they left off. And I just rarely hear two male best friends falling out over a girl. I just never hear that.
I mean, over a girl, no, I don't. But then again, none of my friends, again, it's an age thing. Maybe in their 20s, girls do fall out over men.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
In my age, I just don't think it really is a thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. That makes sense.
I don't. And this is the threat I get, again, on social media. I get a lot of men, you're going to end up alone. You're going to end up alone with cats is like a big comment. And I must have had thousands of those comments.
Right.
And I'm like, well, alone isn't the threat that it used to be for a woman. Alone isn't the threat that it used to be. We don't need to be with a partner anymore. You know, we're not financially dependent on men anymore.
True.
You know, all good things. And we've got friendship groups. We've got family. We've got close relationships.
True. That is true.
It's not being alone just isn't the threat that it was.
It's not
40 years ago.
It's not the threat in terms of survival. I do think it's still a threat in terms of fulfillment. And the big reason is because I think most people, men included, but especially women, want a deep romantic connection.
Of course.
I think
that's why I'm dating.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think, and part of that is, I think women require more. They require a relationship to do more for them than men. Men don't require a lot from a relationship.
See, I disagree with that.
You disagree?
It's well known that the happiest group of people are either single women or married men. And the healthiest. Is that true? There's a lot. I can't quote studies. I don't have them.
Most women are on antidepressants who are in the society where they are the most single.
It seems to be quite. I can't quote any studies. I don't have them.
Sure, yeah.
But that's certainly the healthiest group of people as well. Married men live longer than single men.
do you think that
Not that I'm a massive advocate for marriage. I don't want to get married.
You know,
it's not 1942 anymore.
Do you think single women who are childless are happier than married women who have children?
I think that's an impossible question.
If you had to guess.
Oh gosh, it all depends who you're married to. I think it's an impossible question. I know a lot of bad relationships for sure, but then I know a lot of great ones.
Of course.
So I know a lot of unhappy single people. And I would say I'm happily single.
Yeah, I guess I'm not saying
so I think it's an impossible question. I do.
Sure.
I think being in a relationship with someone that you don't want to be with or is having a negative effect on your life is so much worse than being single.
I agree, but I don't think the majority of relationships are that, because happy people just go on with their lives. They're not posting about it. Do you see what I'm saying?
On the whole, yeah.
So I think, like, I would argue that even for men, the reason I think it's different is because when we talk about, for example, like masculine, feminine, and we all have masculine, feminine in us, right? Right? Men have feminine in them, women have masculine in them as well. But when the feminine in us and feminine people, the feminine seeks connection, closeness, community. The masculine seeks direction, ambition, freedom. And so when it comes to like a relationship, I do believe that if you get a feminine person, man or woman, but especially if she's a feminine woman, I think she deeply wants a romantic relationship. For a quote unquote masculine man, because the masculine seeks freedom a lot of the time, it's not that he doesn't want a relationship, but I don't think he yearns for it as much. Because that's why, you know, in this country we say when you get married, guys say, oh, you're getting cuffed.
Yeah.
Right? Cuffed as in your freedom's getting restricted.
They do.
Does that make sense? They don't say to women, you're getting cuffed. They say men, you're getting cuffed. And so when it comes to well, it's not happier, but who's maybe more content being alone, I think it does come more down to men. And this even plays into the friendship aspect. You're like, women, there's such a level of social community with their friends and deeper connections and stuff. And while I still believe, like, you know, obviously male friendships, I think I'm biased, but I think there's a different way in how men connect compared to women. It's not always just about sitting down talking. Men connect usually by doing something together or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
And especially like struggles. I think men are happier on their own. I think they are.
I have to say I disagree. I don't think they are.
Okay, first.
I don't think they are. Just from my personal experience.
I get that.
But I think happiness, like, you choose happiness, and I'm a big believer in you choose happiness.
Yes.
You know, another criticism I get is when I say I'm happily single, and everyone's like, well, why are you dating then? Well, the two aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah, both can be true.
Both can be true.
Yeah, of course. That's very true. That's very true.
That's why I don't, this word settle comes up a lot. You just settle, you need to lower your standards. But why? Because I'm fine as I am. If I stay single for the next 10 years, that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
I'm fine.
Of course.
I enjoy my own company. I've got lots of things to do, hobbies. I'm great.
Yeah.
If I meet someone, that's also fine. That's great. Adding to my already good life is lovely.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, that's a positive thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna.
Do you feel like you're not meeting guys that you want to be in a relationship with? I mean, 31 first dates. I mean, at least two in there?
No, it's been a real mix. It's been a real mix. So, yeah, a couple of those I've met who I've really liked. Yeah,
right.
I've really liked. But it's finding that mutual connection. So just because I like somebody doesn't mean anything to them. And vice versa. I've had some men who have seemed to really like me, but just haven't been for me.
Mutual intention.
Again, a lot of the comments I get from men, a lot of the criticism I get from men is, why were none of these men good enough? And I'm like, oh, I didn't say that. Again, this is me debunking all this negative talk about dating. I don't like, and I do think this comes a little bit more from women than men. He was trash, he's a loser.
Sure.
Oh, dating is like being in the trenches.
Yes.
All this stuff. And I'm like, no, you're just not compatible with them.
Yeah.
Doesn't make them a loser.
Very true. So you don't have to share this. Out of those 31 dates, how many of them were you like, I could consider myself being with you long term? Out of that 31.
Oh, I mean, after a first date, you saying?
Sure. I guess I'm
How many
just going
guys were there? One I dated for like 6 weeks right at the start of my dating journey. And I think that was a little bit of naivety from me. Had I met him later on,
It would have been different.
You would have been different.
Oh, why is that?
Like I say, I build up a resilience, and I feel like my boundaries have firmed up a lot.
Right.
Over the year. I can get to boundaries in a sec, but I think
I get that.
So I would say 1, 2.
Not saying that you're like, oh, I want to be in a relationship, but you're just like, I would be open to this happening.
Wanted to pursue something with them.
Pursue, yeah.
Like 4.
So you do reject most of them. Like when I'm not validating the comments.
But there's also mutual rejection. Well, you know, a lot of the men I go out with are professional men. They're certainly intelligent men.
Yeah.
That my age and above. A lot of them have got emotional intelligence. They can sense when there's no chemistry, you know.
Sure.
I mean, I do have the odd one where I think it's obvious there was nothing, and they message afterwards like, oh my God, that was an incredible date. Can I see you again? I'm like, really? Because I thought there was absolutely nothing there.
Yes.
But I think on the whole, a lot of people are good at going, for both of us. I've had lots where we just don't message each other again.
Sure.
You both are on the same page.
So I'm not disputing that, but obviously we can't know for sure unless they literally just told you, hey, I'm not into it.
No, but you can, I know. But I think you can both feel when there's very little chemistry. Sometimes.
I think that's an assumption we can't, I don't think we can apply that most of the time because sometimes guys are just not as...
Oh, yeah, of course.
In tune.
Some don't have the emotional intelligence. Yeah, they don't pick up on the same cues.
Exactly. So
I always think, but then it's because I think it's really obvious when I like someone, but
no,
every woman's different, isn't it?
Sure.
I'm quite tactile. When I like someone on a day, I'm quite tactile.
Yeah.
I guess I'm more feminine. I'm more girly.
Yeah, sure. And maybe some guys can, but most guys
I guess some can't.
May not.
So yeah, there's a good chunk of those dates that were just
I mean, for
mutual, and then there's I can't remember. I did say the numbers. I think there was like 8 or 10 that were mutual, and then there was a good chunk where they did message afterwards.
Okay, so the majority of them you did say no to. That is true.
Yeah, I would say so, but I think that's fair for most women.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you should have said yes.
Oh, of course.
But I'm just saying like and I'm not validating any like bad toxic comments, but a guy saying, "Oh well, you said no to most of them,"
but it was
like,
not
that
because
is
they're
true.
not good enough. Honestly, I speak really highly of the people I go on dates with.
Right.
It's why I get a little. I don't get annoyed, but a little bit when men say I'm a man hater or.
No, you're not.
And I'm like,
I've met man haters. You're
and
not.
I'm like, I speak so highly of
good men.
The men I date and the men I know, and a lot of these men were great people. They were nice. They were great. I've never had a bad date. I've never been treated badly. I've got no bad experiences from dating.
Yeah.
I really haven't.
Yeah.
They've been respectful. Great men. They will make wonderful boyfriends to someone they're compatible with.
Yeah.
You know? And equally, I'm a good person. So the men who haven't been into me on dates, I would be really shocked if they went and said, no, she was this. Because we're just not compatible.
When you say...
That's part of being a grown-up. It's okay.
I get that. When you say they're great men, but you're not compatible. So let's take, for example, the guy who you would say he was a great guy and he was into you, but you weren't into him. Yeah. And you say you weren't into him because you weren't compatible. What does that mean?
There are so many reasons why.
Because I think for guys, what it is, it's like, if you say he's a great guy, what you're saying is he has a lot of great qualities that you would want to be with. Yeah. So it's like, why would you not choose that?
There is no one reason.
Okay.
There is no one. So there have been some that immediately, there's been a couple that they're quite effeminate. So immediately that's kind of put me off a little bit.
Okay. So let's go through a few reasons why.
Yeah, a few reasons why I would. A bit effeminate. So I wouldn't get to, firstly, I get to the dating stage where all their messages are coherent, polite, respectful. They're quite forward in planning a date. So that those bits are all sorted.
Yeah.
I know they can read and write. We're not getting to a stage with a date with a man who's turning up looking like he's just come from a street corner.
Sure.
Nothing like that. So we're at that stage already.
Okay.
So for me, it's a couple have been quite effeminate, which isn't really for me.
Okay.
Sometimes they're a bit boring. A bit boring in that that interest or the conversation doesn't quite hold up. I like to converse. I love intelligent men. I'm a real sucker for intelligent men. So when you're saying something, I like it when a conversation can go to and from and someone adds to a conversation. For me, that's just normal conversing. But the amount of times you talk to someone and they just go, wow, yeah.
Yep, I get that.
Cool. Next subject.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Okay.
But again, I put that down as possibly not being that bright. Or if they say stuff on the date, there are some things that, I mean, I'm quite open to other people's opinions and debates, but there are some big issues that I will not.
You just don't align with?
I will not align with.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, misogyny, racism, anything like that. It's a no.
I get that.
Those are the big things that someone's political opinion, different.
Sure.
But there are some things that are just a no.
Yeah. Different values, obviously.
Different values, yeah.
Yeah.
Some couple men, you kind of get the vibe they're very much in love with their ex.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes. There's all different reasons. Honestly, there is no one reason.
So I think I get that.
But sometimes it's very immediate. The mannerisms and confidence, the way someone holds himself.
I get that. And
is very
obviously
attractive.
this is going from the first dates. I get that.
First dates, yeah.
I get that. I think, and again, I'm not trying to validate any toxic comments.
Of course.
I think I'm trying to translate
what maybe. Because honestly, so a lot of these comments have been surprising to me.
Sure. I think when a guy's saying you're too picky or that you need to quote unquote settle, I think for a lot of women, they have a list.
I hear this.
And I think what it is.
And again, it's something I don't have. So again, I'm like, well, this doesn't refer to me, but I know that
I get that. But it might be like, when you say he's a great guy, you're saying he has a lot of great qualities. Mm-hmm. But when you say we're incompatible because, for example, he's boring, it's like, okay, well, maybe he's not the most exciting guy and he shouldn't have to be because he has all these other qualities. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I think when they say settle, it's kind of, if you have a list of 20 things to be on a list, and I've seen that from women I've worked
I
with.
have heard of women that do this, yeah.
Sure.
6'2", blah, 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 blah,
exactly.
blah, blah, blah.
And it's kind of like, he might have 17 of those things, but because he doesn't have those 3, you go, we're incompatible.
Yeah, so I just don't think I do that. I get a lot of lower your standards comments, lots and lots and lots.
Sure.
And I've never once spoken about standards on social media.
Also, question...
Ever.
I get that. Question on the boring thing. Maybe he was just shy.
I mean, when I say boring, I suppose I'm going to... Lack of intelligence or lack of curiosity or...
Okay. He could be shy though. I mean, you were just going from the first date.
Could be shy, but... Would I feel like that? Again, do you get those feelings about someone that you're immediately attracted to? Possibly not. So I'm sure there were other things.
I get that.
There's never one reason. If everyone's amazing...
I think for a woman, there could be one reason.
Oh, not for me. Not for me. No, really not for me. I don't have this standards list. I don't have a set type of person.
Not a list.
I don't have a set criteria. I really don't. I
believe you. And I'm not saying that you do, but I think like the boring one, I think for a first date, personally, I think that's a weak reason to not go on a second date.
Oh, it's just...
I think that's a really weak reason.
But when there's no conversation, there's no spark, I don't like the word spark. There's no...
Sure.
You're not excited about seeing them again. It's like that you didn't feel like you had anything in
common. You
common.
don't know them.
But you want to get away from the date. That's not a good sign for a first date, is it? When you're like, I've got somewhere to be.
I hear that. I think...
The best dates are when 4 hours flies by.
No, I get that. The reason I'm saying this is this. There are some people who are great daters, but terrible partners. And there's some people who are great partners,
absolutely,
but terrible daters. Some people really don't know how to be outside of their shell with someone that they don't know that well.
Absolutely.
And so when I'm saying from like the first date, I'm like, if you're going to say no because the guy's boring because it didn't seem like he was curious about you over this stuff, which I get, you're allowed to do that. I'm not criticizing you for that. But I think you can really miss out on somebody who maybe just is an introvert and takes a bit to come out of their shell that you could have discovered on the second or third date. And that's not saying you should give every single guy a chance.
I mean, to be fair, I think something I don't do now is that I used to say yes to a second date because he did nothing wrong on the first date. Well, I didn't really feel it. And
I think that's right.
Oh, I know, but I've always still not felt it on a second or third date. And then I feel bad for wasting their time.
I think
then you get criticised though for wasting their time. You feel like you can't do anything right. You can't do anything right. There's always a wrong in dating.
I get that.
If you get with a guy who treats you badly, people say, well, you should have been pickier. And if you're
not pickier, you should have chosen for the right reasons.
And then when you're trying to choose for the right reasons, you get 8,000 comments saying you're being too...
Well, no matter what anyone does anyway, you're not going to please everyone.
No, absolutely not.
Standard. I think...
But I also think this whole thing of giving people a chance is something that's not really expected of men, and it is expected of women to give him a chance.
Because women have the power in the beginning.
I also think it's because I think it's widely accepted that for men, attraction is paramount.
Yeah, but as we discussed, the threshold for attraction is very low.
But you're not expected to go on second and third dates with someone you don't find that attractive. Whereas a woman, the expectations of women gives him a chance. And I'm like, well...
But you're the one who said to me earlier in the conversation that attraction isn't that high.
With attraction for me is so much more. I mean, attraction can be not just looks. It's not visual for me. Attraction is the confidence, mannerisms.
Could you not build attraction to a man over time? Yeah, didn't you say that happened?
Of course it can happen. Of course it can happen.
So you have to give it a chance for that to happen.
You do, but I'm also mindful that these are real people and I don't like the thought of wasting somebody's time.
You're not wasting time if you're being genuine, because it could be a guy can date a girl for a couple of months that he is maybe considering seriously, and he gets to a point, he gets to know her and realizes actually this isn't somebody I'm looking to take seriously. But then many women be like, oh, well, you wasted my time because you should have known that from day one. It's like, well, how am I going to know that?
If your intentions are genuine,
that's what I mean.
Honestly, I've never, from online dating, I do know if I really like someone very quickly. And I do hear that from a lot of women, actually.
So why doesn't it work out for that way?
For the men that I have liked?
Well, I think for most women, I think they have that same paramount, but they're not getting the results that they want. Because they're looking for that spot, like, oh, I knew first, second date. And I'm like... Everyone's different. Someone could be a great partner, but isn't the best first great dates. And if you say objectively, this person has a lot of great qualities, why would you not give that a chance? That's what guys don't understand.
Yes.
Because I think the differences with guys, with men and women is men are looking for reasons to qualify a woman, but women are looking for reasons to disqualify the man.
Yeah.
So even though a guy might be like, okay, her outfit's a bit whack, so I don't know if she's got great style, but actually... she has a great laugh. Oh, actually, it's interesting.
She's not as a choice, though, isn't it? Because as a woman, like you say, it's not difficult for us to get dates.
I agree, but that's why part of taking responsibility for the power that you have is understanding, well, if I can objectively see that this person has great qualities, even if I didn't feel that spark in the first date, I should give them an opportunity because I may actually discover something about them. You've only met them once. You don't know them.
Yeah, this is fair. This is fair.
Do you see what I'm saying?
And yeah, this is fair. And it's something that maybe I have done, but for me, it just hasn't worked out. But it's something maybe I could consider. And
the reason I say this is because I think from women I've talked to, a lot of women operate this way and they're all getting the same result, which isn't finding a man with the same level of intention and reciprocation. Because when I've talked to women, for example, who met their partner that they would have swiped no on in a dating app, that companionship grew. And then it got to a point where it's just like, I want this guy and I don't even know why, but he's funny and he makes me feel safe and he makes me feel heard. And yeah, he's not the most attractive guy, but when it comes to a relationship, looks fade over time. He's not gonna be the most attractive guy forever. Yeah, and this is something that I tell guys as well. Don't just choose a woman because it looks, because everyone's looks fades. Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
There's one of your reels that I saw that I want to ask your opinion on.
Go on then. Which one was it?
So the sorry, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. Do you remember that reel?
Oh, when men say that.
Yeah. So you said, what did you say?
So I said,
what did you say? You tell me.
So I said, men do that thing where they say, sorry, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. As an act of kindness often for a woman. Right. Rather than saying, I don't like you that much. Because you'll find that these men often then have a girlfriend 2 months later. And I hear this a lot from women. Oh, he said he didn't want a relationship with me. And then he's got a girlfriend. Yeah, but you should have realised that he was just saying that. Like, he didn't want a relationship.
Both can be
it's
true.
The with you that's silent. I don't want a relationship with you.
Why would that make a difference in a woman hearing with you? Because why should she not just take it as, okay, we're looking for different things? I need to let you go.
So people say that to me occasionally.
Yes.
And I say, thank you for letting me know.
Great.
That's not what most women do.
Okay, but then that's an issue on the woman's interpretation, not on the man's delivery.
Bit of both.
Is it?
I think he could just say, we're not the connection I'm looking for. Is what I say to people.
But the point is that what he's saying is, I don't want to pursue a serious relationship here.
It's the here. They say, oh, I'm not looking for a relationship right now. It's not you. I'm not. And I think often what's happening is that opening the door for something casual
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
But the woman thinks, and I've been there,
Mm-hmm.
where you think, I'm a great person, so surely this man just needs to spend more time with me.
But then that's her own fault.
It is, but the man isn't helping it. As a
But
responsible adult,
he
could say, this isn't going to ever turn into anything.
So he should take responsibility for how she makes her choices. That doesn't make sense.
No, he could say, this isn't the connection I'm looking for, rather than, look, you're incredible. If I was looking for a relationship, it would be with you.
It's funny because you say responsible adult, and I just think that's her not taking responsibility.
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a woman,
but I don't think we would ever ask a
not
woman
having
to
the
take
confidence to say, sure, no worries. We're not on the same page here. So no worries. I'm going to move on. But they don't. If you really like someone, I've been there, and they say you're dated for a bit, and they say, no, I just want a relationship right now. Part of you don't want to believe that it's just with you. It's almost so far from your mind, and obviously all your friends are giving you terrible advice and saying, no, he does really like you. He's just not in a place right now.
So they listen to her friends, not the guy.
And and then they wait around. They wait around thinking that maybe he just needs 6 months.
Okay.
And by then he's got a girlfriend and she's moved in. Because he actually was looking for a relationship, just not with you.
Sure. I get that. And I'm not saying that if men said with you, I'm not saying that wouldn't help. But a guy saying, I'm not looking for a relationship, and a girl going, okay, I'm going to stay to change his mind, right? That is exactly the same as a guy approaching you in a bar because he finds you attractive, he likes your energy, he likes how you carry yourself, and saying, hey, I think you're really cute. I'd love to get your number so I can go out with you for a drink. And you're like, I'm really not looking for anything right now, but thanks for coming up. And he goes, nah, I can change her mind.
The chase thing.
It's not the chase, but it's like, it's him not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
That's her not taking no for an answer.
I guess that's...
And the thing is, what it is, it's
comparable,
like...
absolutely. I guess they're comparable.
And what I'm saying is, a guy saying, I'm not looking for a relationship, that's a man saying no, but he's just not saying the reason. When you say with you, you're saying, I don't want a relationship because I don't see it with you. But when you say, I don't want a relationship, you're saying, I just don't want one. The reason doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to a woman who can say, no, thank you. But unfortunately, they're not all like that.
Okay, but then what I'm trying to say is being a responsible adult is taking responsibility for yourself to go, okay, that is a no. And so I know if I want a relationship, he has said no. The reason doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Do you see what I'm saying?
This is exactly what I tell people, that's exactly how they should react. That is exactly how they should react. Yeah. That is the best advice. Right? Yeah. That is exactly how they should react. But they don't. And the man will then carry on having sex with that woman.
But she will carry on having sex with him.
Absolutely. But she's getting deeper and deeper into this. You know, he's still having sex with me, so he does just need time. You know, and the whole time he doesn't have, and I think that's unfair, and I think that's a little bit dishonest. I think.
But he has been honest. He said, "I don't want a relationship
right now, not with you."
Let's say
it's the with you that's important.
Because here's the thing. Let's say a guy says, "I don't want a relationship right now," and let's say that is true.
Okay.
Right? Does that mean she should still carry on to stay?
No, I don't think. If she wants a relationship, no. Depends what her intentions are. Okay,
so let's say she wants a relationship.
Yeah.
And let's say she wants one with him, but he just doesn't want a relationship right now.
Oh, yeah, I would absolutely say no, thank you, and carry.
Is that him being dishonest?
If he's being genuine.
Yep.
But I'm talking about the men who then kind of end up with someone like a month later, 2 months later, which is often. Happened to me.
I understand that. I get that, right? And I get that's not nice to see. But what I'm trying to say is, even in the case where he is being genuine and honest, you can still get the poor outcome of she continues having sex with him and he still doesn't want anything with her.
Absolutely. But as long as you can't, if he's being honest, then there's never a problem. If someone's being honest themselves.
But she can still make the same mistake.
She can. And
so
she
what I'm saying,
will.
yeah. So what I'm saying is, isn't the onus on her to go to be her own parent? Because I think what you're asking is you're asking him to be her parent, being like, I know that you want this, but I'm going to make the better decision for you.
I think it's mutual. I think, yes, I believe people should absolutely set their boundaries. Mm-hmm. The whole bus thing, the bus driver doesn't ask you where they're going. They're telling you where they're going. You either get on or get off.
Very true. Yeah.
Same thing. I want a relationship. If you don't want that, I'm not going to be part of this, and I'm going to carry on going on the journey that I want to go on.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. And that's very much the philosophy that I've adopted recently, because not always. Because I was always one of these people who thought they just need to spend more time with me. And it's really hard to accept rejection. But you grow and you learn.
Yeah.
But I'm just a big fan of honesty.
But he is being honest. That's what I'm saying. Because you've done the same thing.
I always say to people, this isn't what I'm looking for.
That's great.
And in a nice way, in a nice, concise, kind way. But I will never say, I'm just not looking for a relationship right now. Because they kind of hope that you're going to pop up 2 months later, or they'll keep messaging you every now and then. I cut it dead. So there's no false hope. I just think that's fairer to be very concise.
Look, I'll be honest. I've been in that situation and I have actually ended things because I'm like, I know you think you're okay with this being casual, but I don't think you're going to, because I've had the experience of the same thing.
Pretending they're okay with casual.
But that was very much me being the parent to them and being responsible for their own decisions.
That's just being a good person. That's just being a decent person.
And it's funny because she was older than me.
It's just being honest. It's just being
but it's not that I wasn't honest, but it's like, if I like, hey, look, I'm only open to this as a casual thing. And she goes, I'm open for it to a casual too, but really I wanted a relationship. That's her being dishonest.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
And that's what you're saying people do.
I can't relate to that because I would never do that. But
no, but that's what you said. You're like, okay, but if I just spend more time with him, right? I'm happy to accept this as a casual now, but if I spend more time with him, it's going to become what I actually want it to be. That's actually you being dishonest because you're not actually open to something casual.
No, but I don't think many women agree to something casual when they were looking for something more. I think this is a situationship, isn't it?
No, yeah, but
this is getting into the realms of a situationship, yeah.
Of course, but I'm getting to the point. I'm saying in the instance where he says openly, I don't want a relationship. Whether he says with you or not, he says, I don't want a relationship, right? I.e., this is only casual. Mm-hmm. And she goes, I'm happy to enter this casual thing with the secret of actually it becoming a relationship later. That's her not being honest.
That's her not being honest with herself, for sure.
And she's not being honest with him because what she wants to do is use this casual dynamic to turn it into something that she actually wants.
To kind of hook him in, yeah.
Right. So that's her not being honest. That's not him not being honest. He's been very honest from the beginning, but it's how she thinks I can change his mind and I'm going to use the casual play to get the serious commitment. And it's like, you need to be on your parent. Be like, look, I might want this, but actually what I want, like, I want someone to choose me and you're not ready to do that, whether it's because it's me or you're not ready to. And I'm looking for that. So it's just understanding, right, if I continue this with you, this is casual.
But not many men are that honest and say that. That's quite rare. I think that's quite rare.
I think that's quite rare. I don't know if it's rare because...
And a lot of men are only saying the I don't want a relationship bit when forced. When their hand is forced a little bit. When she's pushing for commitment. They would happily... And it's only when they're forced that, oh no, I don't want a relationship right now.
I think when she has to make a decision, which every woman should. Yeah, and I'm not saying men can't actively deceive. That is true. I think not saying anything though, that's not him lying. He's just not saying anything.
Of course, I would ask for clarity. I'm a big fan
if
of clarity.
If you know that you want something, then you should express that.
But this is where over dating, when we talk about dating for a year, this is where my boundary setting has improved massively from when I first went into dating, where I would have been too scared to ask, oh, what's this? What's this? Or are you seeing anyone else? Or are we this? Or we that? I would have been terrified to do all that.
So I would say
2 years ago, I remember having a conversation with someone and I remember being terrified.
I understand that. I'm not saying it can't be scary. It does take courage to do that.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that if you don't feel confident enough to express the standards that you're looking for, that you are also going to bring to the table, then you should not be dating.
Yes, but people don't, like, relationships are something that everyone seeks, and sex and relationships and emotional connection. People aren't going to step back. Not many people step back from dating until they've worked on their self-confidence. And I'm not sure I'd recommend it because mine has built so much over the last year.
I'm not saying you shouldn't
Dating builds the confidence, and dating helps you understand about boundary setting and communication and clarity.
I think
I've learned so much.
I think it can, and I think it can through experience, like it has for you. But I think a lot of people can get exhausted, feel rejected,
Yeah, I hear a lot
all
of
of that
that.
stuff. Like that's why women are like, how do you have the positivity of meeting these guys?
I hear a lot of that. A lot of women saying they're exhausted.
So I think when you do that level of discernment for yourself, and you can communicate that to the person you're interested, because the person who's looking for the same thing as you go, hey, like I'm looking for something, a connection. I'm looking for something serious because I'd like to find someone that I can have a great life with. And the guys who are looking for that would be like, me too. Let's see if this is it. Do you know what I mean?
Back to the relationship thing. When men say I'm not looking for a relationship and miss out with you, this leads to this fuels all this talk about men being on dating sites who are being dishonest, because I don't think they are dishonest. I think a lot are looking for relationships. And because they said, oh, do you know what? I'm actually not in a place where I'm looking for a relationship right now. You then get this group of women who are like, why are these men dating? They're wasting our time. So it fuels this, not hatred, that's a bit strong word, but this disdain, resentment for men on dating apps. That they're all looking for hookups and they're all wasting our time. And I don't believe that to be true. He just wasn't into you.
True. And I would say the same.
So this dishonesty of not saying they're with you is kind of fueling this male-female divide.
I get that. I guess all I'm saying is that it's the same as when a woman goes,
and I know women say it as well. We're talking men and women here. Of course women say it as well.
Sorry, yeah. I'm trying to give the parallel. It's like when a woman says no to a guy who approaches her, she goes, oh, I have a boyfriend. And she actually doesn't.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a boyfriend. She's just using it as an excuse.
Yeah.
Right? She's trying to be kind to not reject him. She's not saying, hey, I look at you and you are not my cup of tea. Sorry.
Yeah, people do things to be kind. Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I just don't feel the need to do that.
No, and I think personally, I think transparency is, as long as you communicate in a way that is kind.
I think because I take rejection very well now.
But maybe most people don't.
And this is the thing, isn't it? So whenever I get women messaging me saying, because when I get rejected from a date, it's fine. It's fine. And I get a lot of women message me saying, I can't go back into dating because I take rejection so badly.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm like, why though?
Because women aren't used to it.
Well, it must be that, because I think when I reject someone, again, I'm not doing it because I think they're a loser, because I think they're disgusting, because all these horrible things. I think this just isn't for me.
Sure. So
when someone's rejecting me, or not asking for a second date when I liked them, or a few dates in, they say whatever they say.
Yeah.
It stings when you like someone. Of course
rejection hurts, yeah.
But no, I don't take that. I don't internalize that. I don't internalize that.
That's because you've done a lot of self-work.
Yeah, not intentionally doing self-work. It's just from dating for a year and just being wiser to it all. Yeah. So I think I wouldn't reject someone because I think all these horrible things about them. So they're not doing that to me. We're just not compatible. It stings and it's hard and you might get a bit upset, of course.
Is it possible that maybe, because you know how you say you don't reject someone, you don't reject them because you think they're a loser. You just do it because I think we're not compatible.
Yeah.
Is it possible with the women that you've talked about that the reason they can't do it is because when they reject a guy, they do think he's a loser.
Well,
they
yeah,
go, you are not good enough for me.
I do hear this talk and I don't like it, and I do stand up against it.
Sure.
That,
so they're applying that to themselves. They're like, well, I reject guys because I think they're a loser. So if a guy rejects me, he thinks I'm a loser and I can't take that.
Yeah, possibly. I reject all this talk of this person's a loser. There's someone for everyone. Everyone's got good qualities. Everyone's valuable to someone. Just because they're not to you doesn't mean their value is any lower. Just because you don't see that value.
Yeah, no, I completely
just because you don't find them attractive. The amount of times you look at a friend's partner and you think, she's not that hot, but they think she's hot. And that's great.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
That's true. That's the only person that matters.
And you find someone a little bit annoying and they don't. And that's fine. We all have value. And I think this is why, again, I can stay so confident in dating, in that I just firmly believe that I will meet someone who thinks I'm incredible, who I think is incredible. It has to be mutual.
If you give them a second chance.
I'm very I do. That's why I can stay positive. Just because this person and this person, who at the time I liked.
Yeah, I get that.
Didn't want anything with me. That's fine. Like, I only want someone who wants me. I only want to choose someone who chooses me.
Of course. And I agree. I think that's a standard we should all have, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
The days of chasing people who don't want me are hopefully well and truly behind me.
I think as long as they're reciprocating the energy that you're giving, I think
But
that's
again, I get so many messages, people chasing people that don't want them. Why? It's because they want to feel chosen. It's because they feel like the love is going to be so much better if they've earned it. It's this romanticized version of love that we see on telly, where it has to be difficult, where it has to be a struggle.
Yeah.
And it's so romanticized in literature and telly and films, where it has to be volatile.
Yeah,
it has to be
people are looking for their
has to be
fairy
on
tale.
and off. Yeah. For it to be passionate. And it just does us no good. It does us no good. We think that chasing that person that doesn't want us is going to make it a better love or a better relationship. And again, I reject that. Yeah. And I tell people to reject that idea.
Yeah, I think if you look for the right quality, and if you look for the right qualities, I think you will find somebody who wants to reciprocate that to you.
A lot of people say my standards are sky high.
You think
a lot of people say your boundaries are really good and your standards are sky high, and I'm like, they're not. I just want someone who really likes me. I don't think that's
well. No, I get
and
that,
who I
but
like,
you wouldn't.
Like.
Yeah, but I think it's who you like, because a lot of guys would like you and probably do.
Oh no,
like
it has to be who I like. Everything has to be mutual.
And I think that's the standards they're saying.
It has to be mutual. But
of course.
Look, I think 4 last year. I thought 4 last year. I can't remember how many now. I'm trying to look back at the people.
Thing is, that's for guys. If they went on 31 dates, the amount of women that they would be open to pursuing something further than the first date would be much higher than that.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think guys are, and
absolutely.
I'm not saying you should change your ratio, but I'm saying guys are always like, wow, at 31 dates with women, I'd give at least 15 a chance. Yeah. And it's like, you're only giving 4 and you think you're being generous. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's,
but you also just can't help you just can't help what you like. You know, of course, you just have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And again, because I'm in this privileged position where I'm not desperate for a child and I have no intentions of getting married. I don't really care about any of that. If it happens, great. I don't mind. I love my life. I love solitude. I love traveling. I love being alone. So I'm not in this position where I'm not desperate.
Yeah, of course.
I want someone who will absolutely make my life better. I'm open to that. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. And
I'm excited about the physical side of a relationship. I'm excited about the emotional side of it. But it's not a desperation. So I think that probably allows me to be a little more, not choosy, but to really take my time over it.
Yeah, I get that. No,
whereas if I was childless and really believed in marriage
and wanted that,
and lonely and couldn't cope. I know some women who really don't cope well with solitude, who don't like it.
I think
so if I was in that situation, I'm sure I would be giving a chance to a lot more people.
Maybe.
But I'm not. I'm in a position where that's not my life. And
100%.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
And I'm able to set boundaries that I think are appropriate.
Yeah. And
that have brought me a lot of peace. Something with boundary setting as well. I find I get a lot of messages from women. People set boundaries for the wrong reasons. They set boundaries to try and change someone's behavior.
Yes.
Which is always like manipulative.
Yeah.
So you're setting a boundary. I set boundaries to protect myself, not to change the other person's behavior.
Right.
You know, I'm setting a boundary of, yes, you must give me adequate planning for the date so that I'm not faffing around and I'm not stressed. And I set a boundary of I wouldn't sleep with someone who's sleeping with other people so that I don't get hurt.
Sure.
I don't set that boundary to try and, I'll say that. And if I'm not going to try and change their behavior and let people be, let you do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think if you're saying like, look, I don't need, that's difficult.
Well, I think people think that if you set boundaries or have respect for yourself, people are going to treat you differently. And I think that's a disappointment. People do not treat you any differently.
I think it's the bus analogy. You're like, you're getting on this?
Yeah, they're not going to treat you any differently at all. It doesn't command you any more respect. It doesn't attract any more men who maybe are looking for something more serious. What it does is stops you getting hurt. And it just gives you peace. And it stops you having that anxious feeling waiting for someone to text you. Because you've set a boundary and you've closed that door and you've pushed that away and you're...
I get that. I get that. I think there are some standards that come with the further you go. So like if a girl was like, oh, you have to text me every day and I've met you once, I'm like, nah, I'm not. You don't ask that from me. Like, you're not my girlfriend, you're not my wife. I don't have that obligation to you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and everyone's time scale and boundaries are going to be completely different. You know, I wouldn't now embark on a physical relationship with someone who was still dating. That's me. Physical.
So you would expect commitment before being physical.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't now have sex with someone who's having sex with other people. No.
So you would expect someone to be exclusive before they have sex with you.
I'd want to hear that they liked me enough that they weren't like, I wouldn't have, let's say I had a date with someone on a Wednesday and they want me to stay around and maybe it was our 6th date. I don't know, scenario.
Sure.
If I knew they were dating other women and maybe had a date planned for, or whatever, I just knew they were dating other women. Yeah, that intimacy wouldn't be happening.
Okay, so yeah, you would ask for exclusivity, but before physical intimacy.
What I don't do is I don't ask. So I've said before, I said this to a guy before who wanted me to stay around at some point.
Yeah,
I just want to check: are you still on dating site actively dating other people or looking to? If you are, great. We'll hold off on this and get to know each other a bit more. So I'm not asking someone to do anything.
You're just saying this is my standard.
I'm letting them do whatever they want. And then I will then pick where I want to be.
Sorry. So yeah, you're saying the standard for you to be physically intimate is they need to be exclusive to you.
Yeah. And then they can say, do you know what? I'm not there yet. I am dating someone else who I want to get. Great. I wouldn't say, oh no, you need to stop dating that person.
No, you wouldn't be telling them what to do. You're like, if this is going to continue, this is my standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And
I'm not looking to change that person's behavior. I'm looking to protect myself with that.
I understand that. I don't think that is a wrong standard to have. I think that is a difficult standard to find for someone to comply with in this dating hookup culture.
I think it's, again, maybe age dependent. I think younger
maybe
people,
it's age dependent.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's actually a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm late 30s. I think.
Yeah. I think if a guy's in for something serious, actually, that's probably a good point.
And it's just like a safety aspect as well. And again, I think when you're a parent, you're a lot more aware of your own mortality and your own safety.
Sure.
You know, you don't think you're invincible anymore.
Yeah, I get that.
You know,
that's true.
you hear people who've got this and that, and it just doesn't. I don't want to be going down to the STD clinic, to be honest.
I would hope everyone uses protection with someone they, you know.
Even so, though, even with
that.
That's what I mean. Some people say, why don't you just use protection? Yeah, but come on, good sex. You do lots of other things.
Sure.
You share lots of other bodily fluids.
Very true.
If you want it to be
good. I
good.
don't know. I'm a virgin.
If you want it to be good.
I don't know.
You know, it's just not for me. And I don't want that. I want.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to be limited in any way with somebody that I really like.
Yeah, and I think that's fair.
But that's just one. I mean, that's just like one. You know, I don't have unrealistic standards of I want a morning text or any ridiculousness like that.
No, I don't think it's I'm not saying it's something you should change, and I don't think it's a bad standard. I think
honestly,
it's just
one
of.
I think it's just one of many, like clear communication. The little things like clear communication of when you're seeing each other next, or planning of a date, or little, you know, I think they're quite standard things.
I think with someone who has the level of intent, the same intention as you, I think that would be fine. Yeah. But if they don't,
well, this is how you quickly see, isn't it?
Yeah,
this is how I don't end up anymore. You know, a lot of people say about getting treated bad. I don't think I do get treated badly, really, because
it filters those guys out.
It filters them out 100%.
No, I agree. I think
quite
that's good.
quickly.
I think that's good. I think that's good.
Quite quickly. So I don't feel the need to carry it on with someone. Get into a situation. I hear people in situationships for like a year.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that to yourself? Why is she doing
that to herself?
Why are you doing that to yourself?
Yeah.
Just like hurting your own feelings. Why are you doing that?
Yeah. No, I agree. There's a point where I think everyone should make a decision and be like, look, this is my standard moving forward, like you just said.
It's not even forcing them. It's saying, this is where I am. If you're not on the same page, off I go.
Yeah. And that's what I mean.
Well, I don't really believe in the one as well. I think it's quite important. I think there are so many people we're compatible with.
I agree.
Just because this one person doesn't want the same thing as me. I so believe there's so many other people that I'm going to connect with in my life.
I agree.
You know, every day you meet new people.
Yeah.
Every time I've met someone that I like, it's been by chance, or I met someone in New York that I really liked, or I just went on a random date, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I just really believe that there's so many people out there we connect with.
Yeah, I agree. It's not just the one person. Hayley, we're going to wrap it there.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your energy with us. We appreciate you.
It's
It's
been a
a
pleasure.
great conversation. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
Oh, my Instagram page, but it's my son's. It's Maxwell and Hayley.
Maxwell and
Yeah,
Hayley.
I share a little bit of parenting and travel stuff as well.
Fine. And some fun dating tip videos as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to explore those comments because you said they're
You
savage.
need to
So
go
I
through
should
the
probably
comment
take a look.
sections.
I'll take a look.
They are wild.
I'll take a look.
It just
I'll take a
reinforces
look.
why we need to really be picky.
Yeah, I think just awareness of the right standards though, I think is important, not the hype money stuff, though that is obviously, it's nice to see, but
Well, they're
quality
added
of
extras,
character.
aren't they? They're added extras.
They're added extras. I get that.
You can't deny that someone good looking and is financially stable is nice.
I'm not gonna pretend
it's
that.
nice, isn't it? Of course it's nice.
But if that's all you're choosing,
yeah.
I think the result will speak for itself.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't get involved. Yeah. Don't get involved with those people.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Guys, go show Hayley some love. Check out her page. Give her some follows, those likes, all that good stuff. Thank you for coming on, Hayley.
No
Guys,
worries.
thanks for
so
tuning in. And I will see you in the next episode.